Hello and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you have just joined us, I have as my second guests Chris Harris, who is an HMI grad, an honors grad. He's also a recipient of the prestigious Director's Award. And Chris has with him his amazing client, Victor. Now, Victor came in to visit Chris for career success. Please help me welcome my guests. Victor, I'm going to start with you. How did you find Chris?
Well, I met Chris through a networking event. It was just a meeting of a bunch of small businesses and entrepreneurs. And Chris came in speaking about hypnotherapy.
What did Chris say that made you say, you know what, I have to make a call, I have to go in and see him?
Well, it was just, he was very knowledgeable and very experienced in his work. And I had no idea how, he was very humble, so I had no idea he has all the accomplishments that he's achieved so far. So, and during the presentation he talked about how hypnotherapy can help with, you know, quitting smoking and weight loss and just such a broad range of phobias that we all face, or you know, medical issues and anything like that. So it was just very interesting to see taking it from a different approach.
Well, I have to say, Chris, I'm very impressed, first of all, that when you present like that, you do project the vast knowledge that you do have. And I want everybody here and at home to know that when you go to these networking events, that's how we get the word out about what we do and who we are and how we can help. So kudos on that.
Thank you.
What were you struggling with, Victor?
I approached Chris with a procrastination problem.
What do you mean by that?
What I noticed throughout the past couple of years was every time I started something, I had a really hard time finishing it, whether it was a small project or just anything in general. I'd always either put it to the last minute or I just wouldn't complete it at all. I'd get 80%, 90% of it done, and with the last little bits, I would just stop doing it.
It sounds terribly frustrating. Besides hypnotherapy, what else did you try?
Nothing really. I would listen to just podcasts, just people talking about, you know, make a list, and just the usual, you know, don't stop, do it, break it into smaller chunks.
Yeah, and you know, as Chris explained, that really appeals to logic, reason, willpower, voice, decision-making, superior judgment. That's the good news. Unfortunately, that's only 12% of the brain. The subconscious mind, which is 88%, does things that are familiar, so sometimes that doesn't work so well. Mm-hmm. What kind of things did you use with Victor to help him break through his procrastination and achieve career success?
Well, the first thing I always do with any client, one of the most important things is have them see themselves at the top of a staircase, and at the bottom there's a vision of themselves having achieved that goal. And it lets them see that it is possible. And when they experience that, stepping down the staircase, becoming more and more at one at that, they see that they are one, that it came from within, that it's a part of them. And there really isn't a separation, that they had it the whole time.
Were you shocked to see that you could visualize it, and visualize it so clearly?
I was very shocked, because I never imagined myself being an imaginary person. I'm more technical, and I see things in front of me, but what Chris made me experience was beyond what I had imagined.
Wow.
Yeah.
So first we see ourselves actually achieving it. Yeah. Then what? I've created a unique approach because I believe that every person has within them the resources that they need to succeed. They have the answers. It's just sometimes we don't know that we have it. This approach that I call the imaginative role enactment approach, or the IRE approach, allows us to have an image form in the mind. We can take a journey. Sometimes this journey doesn't even seem related, such as when a person working a 9-to-5 desk job becomes a conquering hero. And through this journey, they end up realizing, I can stand up to that boss, or that situation that isn't serving me anymore. And they do make the change.
Even seeing yourself as a technical person, and that's a way that you put yourself in a little box. When Chris had you close your eyes and allow an image to form, what kind of images came up for you that helped you break through the procrastination?
Well, there was multiple scenarios about creating something visual in your mind. And he started off small, putting me inside a room with 2 monitors, and then one monitor being your future, and one monitor being your present state, and visualizing that that's who you are the future self is what you want to become. And then the latest one, which is personally my favorite so far, was he took me on a journey through a forest and leaves, and then into a cave, and the images that I saw straight from my subconscious were on a deck of cards.
A deck of cards?
On a deck of cards.
Best place to play cards is in a dark cave. I've always said that. So you're in the dark cave, it illuminates, and there's a deck of cards.
Yes.
Tell me more.
And the deck of cards were basically what Chris was just speaking to me, saying, okay, so on deck 1, what do you see? And I told him what I saw, and on deck 2, 3, 4, 5. And I realized that each one of those things that came to my mind immediately were a representation of what has been from the past and some of what's going to be in the future. And it was just a very, very powerful experience, and I never thought something I'd ever be able to see. So I'm really grateful for that.
Tell me about the future that you saw.
Well, the best part about it was it was out of those 5 cards, one of the cards were blank. But before that, I also saw a symbol of a 4-leaf clover, but with many charms on them. And what Chris said is that's a representation of luck.
Absolutely.
Which I like, because lately everything has just been so wonderful in my life, all thanks to him. And then on the final card, which was blank, it was my mind telling me that the future is not set yet, and it could be me, and it would be the way that I want it to be. So
that's amazingly powerful that you are a co-creator in your own life. What are you going to put on that card?
I haven't really thought about it yet, to be honest. I think it's just a way of keeping my options open. It's just a way of keeping my options open, but making sure that it's what I want it to be, and I'm the one in control of that last card.
So you are not going to be suggestible to anybody else's image of who you are, or even your past image of who you were. It's open, and you get to create it, and you get to write on that card.
Yes.
And that is beautiful, and it's very, very liberating.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the IRE approach, and I'm really excited, Chris, because I know that you just published a book called The IRE Approach.
Yes.
And that is going to be available it is available now on Kindle and also at bookstores everywhere.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that method and how you used it with Victor.
Okay. Well, the mind basically works in terms of images. Your mind can learn to speak any language, but the language that your mind speaks is images, symbols, and metaphors. And so by taking a journey within, we can help the client to understand their mind and the images, symbols, and metaphors that are speaking to them, and help them find the solutions that they didn't know they had within them.
Very, very, very true. So, Victor, let's say that there's someone who's technical minded, like you are, and they've listened to podcasts and they've tried a bunch of things like really talking themselves into it. What would you say to that person about trying hypnotherapy?
It's a completely different experience. When I met Chris, I expected to come in and be turned into a rabbit and start hopping around. I'm kidding. But people need to understand that hypnotherapy goes beyond just mind control. And like my girlfriend, when I told her that I was going to start this, she said, "Oh, what's he going to do to you?" I said, "That's not how it works. It's you're awake, you know what's happening around you, but it just puts you in a different state and a different feeling, and you just feel so liberated, like you said, after it's over. And you get up just feeling so much more better about yourself. You realize why you are the way you are. I've never done previous therapy before, but something just sparked in me to give it a try, and it was the best decision I've made in recent years.
It's a great endorsement. And you tell your girlfriend for me that people don't go see a hypnotherapist to give control over to somebody else.
Yes.
The only reason someone would ever see a hypnotherapist is for that person to get more control over his or her life. And I think that's what you discovered. You talked about feeling how it felt, and you wake up feeling really, really good. But I want to ask you, how did it feel for you, Victor, to be in the hypnotic trance?
You just feel completely relieved, and everything, and you feel in complete control. I think that's the best part about the hypnotherapy is, just like you say, Chris is the guidance, but you are the one who's actually walking the steps, and you're the one who's actually going through the process, and you control the way it goes. And with Chris's help, I've been able to put a lot of personal procrastinating past experiences that I've had, which led to that. I put that aside while I'm in hypnotic state, which gives Chris the ability to awaken more positive energies and more positive feelings inside of me while I'm hypnotized, and that's how it works.
Well, now I'm going to put your feet to the fire by asking Victor a question. You ready?
Sure.
How has your career success been since you have seen Chris? And be as specific as you can.
It's been about 2 months since I met Chris. In the past 2 months, I have met a partner, and him and I have decided, we're both IT consultants, and we've partnered up, and we now have our own IT consulting company. It just feels great whenever something needs to be done, and it's no more putting it aside. At this point, when I actually write my list, I cross everything out one by one, what needs to be done. Following Chris's advice, I put everything into little chunks. Before I go to sleep, he said, and which is one of the ways I've been sleeping a lot easier lately, I have a notebook by my bed, and he said, everything that's in your mind, just write it down, and I do. And in the morning, I already know what my to-do list is for that day, and I accomplish that. It's been a lot easier with talking to other individuals about what I do. I used to have a lot of fear approaching people and telling them what I do, and that's just pretty much gone. It feels amazing to just. I go to a lot of networking events now, and I'm a lot more open to just talking to random strangers and just telling them who I am and what I can do, and that's Chris's help.
That's an amazing result. Well, it appears we're out of time for today. And I know everyone's going to want to know more about Chris Harris and his unique way of doing hypnotherapy, and also his brand new book. And you can find Chris Harris at hmigrads.com. I want to thank Victor for coming on and sharing his unique experience. I want to thank everybody in our studio audience and those of you who are watching at home. My name is Lisa Mackenberg, and I hope you'll join us next time when we meet more people and explore how they are using hypnosis today. Please stay tuned, because we have a lot more coming up for you on Hypnosis TV. Stay tuned. I'm going to start with you. How did you find Chris?
Well, I met Chris through a networking event. It was just a meeting of a bunch of small businesses and entrepreneurs. And Chris came in speaking about hypnotherapy.
What did Chris say that made you say, hello and welcome back to Hypnosis Today, where we explore how people are using hypnosis to achieve remarkable things. If you have just joined us, I have as my second guests Chris Harris, who is an HMI grad, an honors grad. He's also a recipient of the What? I have to make a call. I have to go in and see him.
Well, it was just, he was very knowledgeable and very experienced in his work, and I had no idea how, he was very humble, so I had no idea he has all the
prestigious Director's Award. And Chris has with him his amazing client, Victor. Now, Victor came in to visit Chris for career success. Please help me welcome my guests. Victor, I'm going